Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year. It's January. Let's make a January TBR. I actually have not made a TBR in a couple of months because I could never stick to it, and it was like, what's the point of making a TBR if you can't stick to it? But it's a new year and I want to get ahead of my reading goal. Last year my goal was 60. This year my goal is 75. Reading challenges makes reading fun, like keeps things interesting. I don't know. I just think it's nice to have like a kind of goal you want to hit at the end. If you hit it, you hit it. If you don't, you don't. But like I said, I haven't stuck to a TBR. I tried to pick a random variety of books. You know, I mainly read fantasy, but my TBR has grown in the past year between PR, authors, and new releases. And I really want to stay on top of my reviews. That's where I'm at. So I have a stack of books. I also want to do my December reading wrap up. I read 6 books, nothing above 3 stars though. I finally got out of my reading slump and was able to get into a little bit of a groove. I wasn't able to read anything that was just like, whoa, that was amazing. Better than being in a slump. So let's talk about the books. Anyway, reading wrap up. The first book I read was Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I gave this 3 stars. It's an adult romance between 2 ER doctors. They're fake dating. It's Jacob and Brianna. Jacob proposes the idea to fake date with Brianna because his ex-girlfriend is engaged to his brother and he doesn't want to be the scorned, bitter, sad ex. And he's like, okay, during all these wedding events I have to go to, pretend to be my girlfriend so my family thinks that I'm okay and they don't feel bad about my brother marrying my ex-girlfriend, and that's how they get together. Yeah, 3 stars. Me personally, I'm not going to pretend that it's okay that his ex got with the brother. And I was explaining this to my mom and she was like, why? What is up with people dating brothers? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know anybody in real life that has done that. So I don't know what the hype is with books, but it does happen a lot. So it is interesting to think about. Then I read Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. This is a thriller. I gave this 3 stars mainly because I knew nothing before going into this. I just decided to pick it up and wow, that was a lot darker and really sad. Did not expect that at all. It's about a girl who goes missing and her mom just grieving her daughter because she doesn't know what has happened to her, and it's kind of just a lot of question marks. It ends the mom's marriage because she just can't get it together for her husband and her other kids. Her other daughter, who didn't go missing, resents her because she's like, I didn't only lose my sister, I also lost my mom. Ellie goes missing and it's kind of like, where did Ellie go? But this story really reminds me of Two Doors Down by H.K. Christie. I much prefer Two Doors Down. A lot lighter and like an actual happy ending. Then She Was Gone is supposed to be a happy ending, but I'm just sitting here like, the mom still has a lot to work through and unpack. Then I read The Locked Door. Also, I don't have any of these books because I read them all on my Kindle except Yours Truly, but that was a library book and I returned it. So Locked Door by Frida McFadden. I gave this 3 stars. I wasn't ever a huge fan of the book, but the ending absolutely like lost me. At first I was like, oh whoa, I actually didn't expect that plot twist, so okay. But then it was plot twist after plot twist after plot twist to the point where it doesn't make sense and it's not believable. Like at first it was believable and then it's like she wants to make it so unbelievable that it doesn't hit the same. It's about Nora. Her dad is a serial killer. They call him the handyman because of the way that he would kill his victims. Her dad is in prison now and he's been in prison for 26 years, but people have started to show up dead and they've been murdered the same way that her dad murdered people, and she's like, there's no way my dad got out. But people are looking at her because of the way her dad killed people, but she's like, it's not me, and she's trying to prove her innocence. So honestly, like, it could have been a good story, but like I said, the end lost me. I can't do outrageous endings because I'm just not gonna believe it. It's like I'm face palming because at the end it's just so ridiculous. Then I read The Lost Sisters. This was a reread. It's a novella by Holly Black. I still don't like Taryn. I've tried, y'all. I'm not a fan of Taryn. It's from Taryn's perspective, the only book we have in her POV. Thankfully, she only got a novella because I don't need to hear more. That's the thing about Holly Black. I never get bored reading her books, even if it's a character I don't like. I was still invested, but I still don't like her. I don't know why I reread it. Warm Up by V.E. Schwab. This is a novella with the Vicious duet. It doesn't give you much. It is a novella, but you know, it was a story. It's about David and his life after an avalanche happens and his wife and kid leave him. Galatea by Madeline Miller, 3 stars. It's about a lady who is made from stone. Her husband made her from stone and then she came to life. They also have a daughter together. And the last book I read was another novella. It was a holiday novella, A Risk Worth Taking. It's a romance novella. Not for me. I gave that one 2 stars. Definitely not for me. You may like it. I did not. There is my December reading wrap up. Let's talk about my January TBR. I got a farmer's market bag full of books. I actually have already read one of these. It's January 2nd. I've already read a book. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I was trying to get on top of it and I got ahead of myself. I wasn't expecting that. Moves them all back out of the way. So I guess I'll just start with the book that I've already read, which is Never Lie by Frida McFadden. It's about two newlyweds, Trisha and Ethan. They are house hunting for their forever home, and they find this house, but it's in the middle of nowhere. Ethan is all for the house. Trisha is on the fence about it because it's in the middle of nowhere. There's a snowstorm going on, and they are snowed into this house where they have to stay, and she thinks it's super creepy, and she thinks someone is actively living in the house. They can't find their real estate agent who's supposed to show them around, and she's just not a fan, and so many crazy things go on in this house, and they figure out that it's the house of a author who went missing. The police never found out what happened to this author, and that's when Trisha really gets the creeps and she wants to get out. 2.5 stars is my rating for this. Alright, next on the TBR is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. This is a new adult romantasy. I've seen this everywhere. Is the hype worth it? I've seen it compared to Hunger Games a lot. Do I think it's going to be like the Hunger Games? No. Am I still going to read it? Yes, because I love a good romantasy. A good romantasy. Romantasy is a hit or miss, but we'll see. I do know the FMC doesn't have powers though, hence the name Powerless, and that's her huge secret. Lore of the Wilds. This is an arc. This comes out in February, so I just want to read it before it comes out and review it. But I think this cover is beautiful, which is what drew me in to begin with. I'm really excited for it. It's about Lore. She's 21 and she's trapped in an enchanted forest, and to get out, she has to catalog the enchanted library that no Fae has ever been able to figure out, but she's a human, so she may be able to figure it out, and if she can, that's the key to her being free from the enchanted forest, but she also has ulterior motives than just figuring out this enchanted library. The Swiss Family Robinson, my friend Riley got this for me, so I want to read it and tell her what I think about it. I'll be going into this one completely blind. My Life with the Walter Boys, a YA book, a love triangle. You already know it's gonna be a love triangle. I got this because it's been suggested to me a lot. Jackie, she is having to choose between Alex and Cole. That's what I know. I don't know what team I'm gonna be on yet, and I only just started this one. The Secret Service of Tea and Treason. This is one of my library books that I've had for so long. I need to read it because I've had it for so long. Like, why have I not read it yet? Alice, she is Agent A and she works for a top secret government intelligence group. I already like her. I'm gonna join the Sophie Lark universe. Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark. Everybody loves Sophie Lark, so we'll see. And speaking of another well-loved author, here we have If We Meet Again by Ana Huang. This isn't the series that everybody talked about though. They talked about the Twisted series. Don't think the Twisted series is for me. I don't really think I'd like a bodyguard romance. I don't know. But this is about Farah and she's studying abroad, and that's all I need to know to read this one because I love books where someone studies abroad and they fall in love. I'm a simple girl. Study abroad, find love, move to wherever you studied abroad, live happily ever after, have 10 kids. I don't know. Another library book, One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. Fantasy retelling of Romeo and Juliet with vampires. The Assassin's Apprentice. This is like old style fantasy, old school fantasy, which I love because fantasy has really evolved, I feel like, in the past like 5 years. Old but gold, and I can't wait. And it's by Robin Hobb, and this is a really long series. Synodic by Kristen Travis. This is a fantasy romance, and it deals with like constellations, as you can see them right there, which I think is super cool, and I'm really excited for this. Nothing Above by A. Marie, and I love right here, she said, just wait. Like, I'm intrigued. No, it's a romance book, and they work together, so like a work romance. That's Not My Name by Megan Lawley. This is from Sourcebooks. Thanks so much, Sourcebooks. It's about a girl who turns up on the street. She doesn't remember her name, who she is, nothing, and a guy shows up to the police department saying, hey, well, I'm her dad, so she ends up going with him, but that's not who she is, and her boyfriend, her actual boyfriend, is looking for her. Everybody's looking at him, side-eyeing him, thinking that he did something to her because the last time she was seen was with him, so he's a suspect, so he's like, I need to find her to prove that I did not have anything to do with her disappearance, plus whoever she's with could really hurt her. Library book, Forget Me Not by Julie Soto. I've heard a lot about this book, and I've had this library book for so long, it's like embarrassing, so I really need to read this. It's an adult romance book. Last book I have is Sea of Ruin by Pam Godwin. This is a pirate romance, historical fiction pirate romance. This will be the last book I read because this is to enter my pirate era and start my pirate reading month, which will probably be February, if I like this one. So yeah. Alright, let's count. I already read one though, so I'm off to a good start. 15 books for the January TBR, 1 down, 14 more to go. Super exciting. Also, the most important book, These Hollow Vows, is my book club book for this month, so technically 16, and I am 1 chapter into that. Follow along on Fable, the link will be in the description. You should definitely join me for the read. My friend Karina has been telling me to read it for months, and I finally was like, okay, book club book, why not? And it's a duology, so there's only 2 books. But yeah, guys, thanks so much for watching my January TBR and December reading wrap up. I'm so excited for this year. I hope everyone had a great Christmas and a great New Year. Have a great day. Bye, guys.